Hey up everyone, I hope you're all doing alright. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be working on the save file. The last build that I did was the yellow cottage thingy that I did. And today we're working on the lot that's usually where the BFF household lives. Now, I don't want to say too much about the BFF household for this save file, but they don't live here in my save file or what's going to be the save file. I did create a family for this and I'll talk about them in a sec. I wanted to kind of keep in theme with this area of Foundry Cove, so it's not so much like a renovation of the house that's originally here, Garden Essence, but I did want to have like a one-storey house and just have everything on one level, which I think is like better to play as, honestly. As much as I like building massive houses with like, you know, 2 stories and loads of bedrooms and stuff, I do prefer to play all on one level, and that way I can see where all my Sims are. You know, I can keep up with what they're doing, and yeah, that's just my preference for how I play. But when I do play in a house, I normally find that I get a little bit stressed out trying to find out where my Sims are, or if I'm trying to interact with one of the Sims, you know, say if a visitor comes over, it's like, where have they gone? Like, they've gone upstairs into someone's bedroom. It gets a bit stressful. So yeah, that's why I kind of wanted to keep it all on one level. And also, I feel like if you build a house in Foundry Cove that's like got 2 levels, it just looks a bit out of place, like next to the other houses and everything, which so far I've built like shotgun houses, and then obviously I did that like cottagey type house. So I built this house for, I think it's a family of 5 Sims. So there's 3 bedrooms. No, there isn't. There's 4 bedrooms. No, there is. There's 3 bedrooms. So there's a parent's bedroom, a teenager's bedroom, and then a bedroom for twin girls. And yeah, I'll talk about the family in a sec, but obviously it's just a base game house. But I did use the holiday celebration pack for this one. It's a free like update pack, so it is technically base game, but I weren't sure whether I actually wanted to include it in the save file. So up to now, all of the houses have been like fully base game, not even using that holiday celebration pack. But the more I looked into it, the more I realised that everybody has access to that, so I might as well include it. So yeah, if you don't have that downloaded, you can just download it. It's free. You don't get like tons of stuff, but I think it's alright to say it's a free little edition that they brought out. I don't even know when that came out, it was ages ago, but yeah, either way, I'll talk about the build now. So like I said, I wanted it all to be on one level, like a one-storey house, and this is kind of like a really weird lot. It's absolutely massive. It's a 40 by 30, but it's like rotated the other way, so you kind of are forced to build a house that's kind of how can I explain it, that's longer width-wise than it is like length, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, it goes from one end to the other and it's longer that way rather than it being longer heading towards the back. I hope you know what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to demonstrate what I'm talking about with my hands, but obviously you can't see. But yeah, you're kind of forced to do that. And originally I were going to make this lot a park, but it is so big and I just think it would look so out of place. I don't know, maybe it wouldn't look out of place if you got the park to look right, but for me, I experimented a little bit trying to make it into a park. I were going to do it with like the pond tool, and yeah, it weren't working out, so I just decided to make it into a house. And I might make the lot over the road a little bit of a park. I'm not entirely sure yet. But yeah, as for the style of this house, I didn't really have one, to be fair, going into it. I were kind of thinking maybe to go a bit more modern, but I ended up not really doing that. I started off, when I did the kitchen, I kind of tried to go a bit more modern, but I ended up changing out the counters a little bit later on and went a bit more traditional, because the rest of the house leaned a bit more traditional. And I think that kind of suits this family a little bit better. I would say that they have quite traditional values as well. Like, I feel like the mum of the family, she would have stayed home while the kids were younger and take care of the kids while dad went out to work. And now that the kids have got a bit older, mum is actually working on her career a little bit. She's gone into the freelance career. And yeah, I would like to talk about the family. I was going to wait a little bit, but I guess I'll talk about them now. So like I said, it's a 5 Sim family, the Fidel family. And I really wanted to create a family that, not that they are like Muslim, because there isn't any religion in The Sims 4, but if they were in the real world, I imagine that they would be Muslim. I feel like I don't necessarily make a lot of Sims that are like, that I would consider Muslim. and have those sort of traditional values, because I'm not like fully educated on that stuff and I don't want to get it wrong. So I've tried to dress the mum and then the teenage daughter a bit more modest, a bit more covered, those sort of Islamic values. But obviously I'm atheist and I know very little about Islam. I only really know like basic stuff. So they're not like true to Islam traditions or true to that sort of like the dress codes and stuff. And I know each sort of country might be different. So Muslims that live in Europe might dress differently to Muslims that live in, you know, Asian countries. There's different like rules and stuff, and there's different things that people take from those rules. It's like anything in it, not everything's like the same across the board. Some people will dress more modestly, others not as much. I did my best with what the game has got in base game anyway. It's very difficult to kind of cover your Sims in a way that you want. I mean, there was this one jumper that I picked out when I was creating the family in Create a Sim, and I thought, oh, that looks fine. And then when I turned it around, it's got a big like triangle cut out the back, so I was like, oh, I can't use that now. So I did my best. I feel like the mum and the daughter, the teenage daughter, they dress a little bit similar. I tried to give the teenage Sim a bit of like, how can I explain it? Dress her for her age, you know what I mean? Like she's a younger Sim. I tried to make her dress a bit more younger, and then the mum a bit more older, I guess. I mean, clothing don't really have an age, does it? You can wear what you want, but you know what I mean? Just to try and differentiate them a little bit. And then they have 2 twin daughters as well. So yeah, I'll talk about the family and that and everything that I have living here in the save file. So the dad is Abed, and he works in the business career. He's just been promoted to vice president. I kind of imagine that he's been working there for most of his life. He's kind of worked his way up the career in a traditional sort of Sims career sense. Like you start from level 1, you work your way up. So yeah, he's just got to, I think, is it like level 6 when you pick your, like what branch you go into? But he's gone into the management role in business. I feel like he's your typical sort of dad. He's quite like cheerful. I imagine he'd be a bit of like, you know, a big lover of dad jokes. He's very family oriented. You know, his family is at the heart of what he does. A lot of his decisions, I imagine, he would make for the sake of his family rather than for himself. So he's definitely somebody that would put his family first. And I feel like with his kids, he would be the sort of Sim that's like, how can I explain it? You know, like sometimes the mum's a bit more, you know, oh, you shouldn't do that and you shouldn't do that. And dad's a bit like, oh, go on, I'll let you. You know, that sort of dad. It gives me that sort of vibe. Bit like my dad, actually. You know, you'd ask for a biscuit 20 minutes before you went to bed, and mum would normally say no, and my dad would be like, go on then. Like, I feel like he'd be that type of dad. You know, he'd maybe buy you an ice cream and stuff when mum would be like, you know, no, I'm not buying you an ice cream because, you know, it costs money. There's chalk ices in fridge. Dad would be like, oh, go on then. Here's a quid. Go out and get an ice cream from the ice cream van. Like, he's that sort of dad. Bit of a pushover, but, you know, he's got the best intentions. And, yeah, I think he's a really lovely Sim. And, yeah, and then mum is Farah. She's a bit more sort of serious, but, again, I still think she's quite laid back. She's very family-oriented herself. And I imagine that she would have spent her younger years parenting and being in the home and just taking care of her family and stuff while Abed went out to work. But now she really wants to sort of focus on her own career. She's dabbling in a bit of writing. She's started in the freelance career, and she's doing quite well. She's just got her first raise, and she's really working on her writing skills. And her dream is to write a children's book and to write a successful children's book. And yeah, I imagine that they're both really, as parents, like quite loving and quite caring. And they're kind of like just like the perfect family, I imagine them. I think they're all quite, you know, happy with each other, apart from the twin girls, which I'll talk about them in a sec. But yeah, then we've got Layla, who is the teenage Sim. She's a very, very creative Sim. She wants to be a successful artist. She's a bit of a loner, like she's not too bothered about making friends. She doesn't have the loner trait, but she's a very creative sort of art lover type Sim. So yeah, she has the creative trait and art lover. And yeah, I feel like it would do her good to make some friends and to sort of get out there a little bit. But she has focused a lot on painting and creating artwork and stuff like that, and that's her dream. And yeah, I feel like now that she's got a bit older, she does want a bit of privacy. She wants to sort of do her own thing. I feel like she's not that much older than her twin sisters. I feel like the age gap between them would only be maybe a couple of years, maybe, you know, 3 years, something like that. So I imagine that she's quite a younger teenager, and yeah, she's just sort of figuring things out for herself. And then we've got the twin girls, so they're called Zoya and Sophie, and they are your typical sort of opposite twins. I mean, kind of. They both, what I did with the twins was, because they both share a bedroom, one of the twins likes blue, the other likes pink, but they both dislike the opposite like colour. I mean, blue is not the opposite to pink, but you know what I mean. So Zoya likes pink. Oh, is it Zoya that likes pink, or is it Sophie? See, that's the trouble with twins. I always get them mixed up, so I've given them very like different haircuts and stuff, because I'm like, which one's which? But anyway, I think it's Zoya that likes pink and Sophie that likes blue. Either way, one of them likes pink, the other likes blue, but then one of them dislikes pink and the other dislikes blue. One of them likes S-pop music and dislikes classical music. The other likes classical music, dislikes S-pop music. So they kind of like and dislike the opposite things. So there's a potential for some arguments. They also dislike each other, so it all kind of works out. They're kind of in agreement on, you know, what they like and dislike. But yeah, they're very, very different to each other. One of them is very like social, wants to make a lot of friends. She's a social butterfly. And then the other is a bit of a bookworm, so she tends to be more of a loner. She's just interested in reading. And I think she might potentially follow in the footsteps of her mum as well. I feel like she would like the fact that her mum writes a book. So they've got quite a close bond. They've got a bit of a better relationship than like everybody else. So the mum and the bookworm twin are very, very close with each other. And then Dad, who's a bit more cheerful, a bit more chatty, is closer to the twin that's a social butterfly. But yeah, sorry I'm like forgetting which one's called which. I do it all the time with twins. But yeah, that's pretty much the family. There's a lot of potential for a lot of things to happen. As of right now, the sort of perfect family on the surface with some potential drama brewing. Like they've got the twins that dislike each other. Teenager is, you know, she's a bit of a loner. She's a bit of a recluse where she just wants to paint. So her relationship with her parents, it's not like great, but it's not because anything's happened. I think they've just sort of drifted apart as she's got older and as she's gone into her teenage years. I feel like it's more that type of thing rather than anything really happening. But you know, if you downloaded the save file and you played as this family, you can sort of do whatever you want and go in any sort of direction that you'd want to. So yeah, I had a lot of fun creating the family and a lot of fun decorating the house, obviously, but I think creating the family and like imagining them in the house and, you know, sort of reflecting the house in their personality. I mean, everything's quite sort of, you know, somewhat traditional. It's sort of, how can I explain it? It's very like put together, but also it's quite safe. Like there's not a lot of bright colours. It's only really in the kids' bedrooms where you get in, you know, different colours and stuff. It's very beige on the interior, a lot of browns and beiges, but I feel like that's the sort of style that, you know, Farah would like. I feel like she would be very much in charge of how the house has been decorated, and it's very in keeping with her style. Quite sort of, you know, muted, somewhat traditional, but also I feel like she would have kept in mind that she's got kids, so she wants something very basic. She don't want to be spending like a ton of money on decorating the house just for it to get wrecked by the kids. Like I feel like she's very practical. Saying that though, it is very expensive, the house. I think it came to like 100 and something thousand simoleons, like 110 maybe, something like that. So it is quite expensive. But yeah, like I said, Dad is, I think he's like a vice president in the business career. So he's, you know, he's earning enough to take care of the house and take care of his family and all that sort of thing and pay his bills and everything. So yeah, I had a lot of fun, like I said, putting the house together and decorating it and then creating the family. It were a lot of fun. It made me want to play in this household. And then obviously I did play in the household for a little bit just to get the skills up and get the relationships to where I imagine that they would be. The thing with the save file is I do want it to be filled with Sims, so there's a lot of effort that goes into that. It's not just creating a house and that's it. I do want to create the Sims for the save file, so that's what I've done. But obviously if you did download it, it's like I say every single video, I'll probably get sick of saying it at one point, and you'll probably get sick of hearing it as well. If you wanted to download the save file, obviously when it's ready, you don't have to have these Sims. You can move in any Sims that you want, but I just wanted to create them. And yeah, I hope that, you know, when it's ready and everything, that you have a lot of fun with it. I had a lot of fun playing with them. The twin girls tend to argue autonomously. They'll just sort of go up to each other and argue a little bit. But, you know, no family is really perfect, are they? So even though this family does seem quite perfect, they're actually not. They've got their own issues going on, just like every family does. And yeah, I think that's the sort of thing like I kind of miss with The Sims 4. It's very safe. There's not a lot like going on. I mean, in the bios and stuff, it's kind of hinted that there's problems, like with the Pancakes household. But then when you actually go in to play with the household, nothing's really going on. Like, they're not actually, you know, struggling. They tend to get on quite well when they actually interact with each other. So yeah, that's one thing I kind of don't like about The Sims 4. There's not a lot of like actual law going on. It's quite safe. So there will be law in this. There will be actually things going on. And if it says in the description that the family hate each other, and you go into the relationship panel, they're going to hate each other. They're going to be like having conflict and stuff. The family is also friends with other Sims that live in this part of the neighbourhood, and they're going to be friends with other Sims as well, which I'm not going to reveal who else is going to be in the neighbourhood and who's not going to be here, but they're going to have relationships and stuff with other Sims. So yeah, like I said, I had a lot of fun putting this one together, and I hope that you enjoyed watching the speed build as well. Sorry this video is a bit late as well, because normally I post on a Tuesday, but I don't know, I've just been really like slow this week. I've kind of like, I don't know, I'm just getting like really annoyed with myself. You know, when you've like got stuff in your head that you want to do, I can't seem to just push myself to like crack on with stuff. So I've just sort of finalised the challenge. So I did like a challenge on Instagram. I think I posted about it on the community tab as well. But that's like come to an end now, and I need to like judge the winner. Took me ages to decide that. I've not even fully decided. I've got like 2 in mind, and I'm trying to like I'll have to ask my partner like what he thinks, because he's normally the deciding factor in, you know, how I judge which is the winner of my challenges and stuff. Just because it always comes down to 2 or 3, and I'm always like, I can't decide. They're both really good, and I'll just get a bit frustrated. So I'll probably ask him for help in a bit. But yeah, I've needed to do that, and then obviously I needed this build up, and then I wanted to record Not So Berry, but I've just not had a chance. And then the new pack's coming out tomorrow, and I was thinking of doing a little mini like let's play for that. So let me know if you'd want to see werewolves let's play. I'm not sure if I'm going to do like, I don't know, it might be like 2-3 episodes. We'll see sort of like what happens with that, but it would be like quite a short series, I'd imagine, just because I've got like so much going on all the time. I've also cancelled stream for today because I overslept, so I'm a bit like everything's all over the place. But yeah, sorry the video is a bit late, but you know, it is what it is. Some weeks you're just a bit slow and there's not much you can really do about it. I'm just realising as well, I never really did talk about the house. At one point I was like, oh, I'll just talk about the build a little bit, but I guess I talked more about the family more than anything. I will say though, I did do this office, we're just sort of finishing that off now, but I did do the office, and I thought, you know, the whole family can kind of make use of that. There's a little kids corner, and then there's a computer where I imagine that mum would sit from and like practice a writing skill. And then we've also got a garage that I did as well, which is kind of more the dad's area. He's into woodworking a little bit, and he's kind of planning on getting back into shape a little bit, but he's not quite sort of got the motivation for it just yet. So his gym equipment's there waiting for him to start whenever he's ready. So if you wanted to, you know, have him work on himself a little bit with that, you could do. And then obviously each Sim's got their own bedroom with the twins sharing. There is a couple of things that I changed at the end that I didn't record, so you'll see like the finished results, not results, but the final version of the build in the screenshots and that, where you'll see the family sort of in their own rooms and sort of pottering about the house and everything. And then for the garden, I just wanted it to be quite basic. I was kind of tempted to like barely decorate it and maybe have it as like a project, but I thought I'm not really going to do that, because if people want to download the save file, I'm kind of assuming that, you know, they don't build as often. I don't know what type of people download save files, because I've never downloaded one myself, but I kind of assumed if people want to change stuff, they can, but if people don't, then they don't need to, because it's already done for them. So I did put some stuff in the garden. So they've got a little climbing frame for the kids, a little vegetable patch, or a potential vegetable patch for mum. She's getting into gardening a little bit. And then they've got an outdoor grill area where they can sit out and have a barbecue from time to time if that's what they want to do. So yeah, it's your typical sort of family home. Got a bit of everything for everyone, for every type of sim that's in the house. And yeah, like I said, really happy with how it turned out. Really want to play with this now, and I want to play with this household because I had a lot of fun creating them, like I said. But yeah, if you did enjoy this video and the little story and everything about the family, feel free to leave a like on the video. And let me know as well if you've got any ideas for any type of sims that live here, because we've still got quite a lot to do for the save file. I've got all the community lots to do as well, which I'm not really looking forward to be honest. Community lots are not really my strong suit. And then there's the park as well. I've got a really nice vision for the park, but it's putting it together that I think I'm going to struggle with. So, but yeah, we'll see how I get on. I can only try, can't I? But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. You're always welcome to leave build suggestions or video ideas in the comments. And yeah, I hope you all enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll see you later. Bye!